What is up, everybody? This is your boy, the Canon Junkie. And here we are on a glorious Monday. I honestly, listen, is this Bombadcast? Is this Hyperfocus? What is this? This is a trailer breakdown on the Bombadcast channel. I can't wait to do it. I'm a big Ghostbuster head. I don't know if there's I guess I am. Is there a name for people who really love Ghostbusters? Like, is there a name for their fans? They busties. But are they called ghost nuggets? I don't know. I don't know what to do. And honestly, this is tanking so far. But I'm not alone today. And I'm going to go ahead and bring in my wonderful guest co-host for the evening tonight, to another fellow busty. I'm gonna go ahead and bring in Mr. Nick Mielke of Podcast of the Wills to talk about a non-Star Wars subject. Nick, what's up, buddy? Busting makes me feel
all right,
good.
so here's what it is.
Okay.
You might be a scrub. And the
Scrub.
reason is, a scrub is a guy who thinks he's fly, who's also known as a buster.
Oh,
So
and
TLC was on it long
I was gonna
before.
say, unlike
I don't know
TLC,
what I'm
we
talking
do
about.
want scrubs. We
That's
do
right.
want
We
scrubs.
want all the scrubs.
Yes.
You're a
yes.
You're a busty. Boop's a busty.
Yes.
Everybody's a busty.
Listen, Nick, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here in all your mustachioed glory. It's good to see you. Earlier we were talking, like we're gonna try not to just quote Ghostbuster lines and everything, but
Right.
here's Nick, and yes, it's true. This man
has no beard.
He has no beard, and it's okay. It's okay.
And it's Fred Savage's
You know what? You know
fault.
what? Well, it's Fred Savage's fault, but you know what might be a better line for it? Because I just was watching a little bit of Ghostbusters 2, is today on the Bombadcast, hairless podcast hosts. Weird.
Weird. It is weird. So, my 5-year-old cried.
Your 5-year-old? Oh my gosh. So I have a funny story about that. Yes, it is. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. It is Nick Mielke. But my dad once, so he had a mustache for most of my life, and I think I was 3 or 4. I forget how old I was. I remember this vividly. This is one of my memories that sticks in my head. We were at my grandparents' house. We were getting ready to go to church or something, and he had shaved. I don't know if he accidentally trimmed too far. I need to ask him.
Worst.
He probably doesn't remember, because it was one moment for him where he shaved, which is just an internal memory for me for forever, I guess. But
Yep.
He comes out of the bathroom clean shaven for the first time in my life that I remembered. And I hid under my grandparents' coffee table because I was so frightened of my own father. And
it is a classic parental facial hair rite of passage, because I remember my sister crying when my dad shaved his beard off. My wife remembers crying when her dad did it. Actually, the very first time, 16 years ago, when my wife and I were newly married, after we got married, I shaved my beard off, and she cried as an adult. She's like,
man.
Yeah, so...
It
will be back soon, but yep. I got to be an extra in the Wonder Years all last week. And in 1968, beards like mine were not really a thing. So I ended up
all the while.
I've got candy in my van mustache.
If I may, look, I know mustaches do like that, but honestly, mustaches are actually very vogue right now. They're in vogue. I don't know if you heard. Excuse me. I think I just burped. That's my dinner. Apologies, everyone. This is great. This is great YouTube content.
This is what people tune in for, Jerry.
This is what they tune in for. But I say you're just a very trendy man. Is all I'll say. Listen, I would completely trust my kids in a van with you.
The reality is we've already spent too much time talking about my weird face and not enough time talking about Ghostbusters.
You know what? That is true. And I was gonna say, look, we've lost Boop already. Look, Boop, have fun at work. Rewatch this here in a little bit. Hopefully, I don't know. You listen. I don't know if you guys have seen this trailer. We're gonna watch it really low and try to not get taken down. And maybe me and Nick will talk over it. I mean, I have things that are very sticking out in my brain, specifically with the beginning of this trailer. And I'm really excited to watch this and talk about it with you because, again, we are both. I think I called myself in a Twitter DM with Jackson and Boop. I called myself an OG, an original Ghostbuster, and so we are both that. We both had the firehouse and everything.
In fact,
so
when I had the honor of being your very first Hyperfocus guest, that was a lot of what we talked about was Ghostbusters and parenting were kind of our two Hyperfocus items. And for me, you know, when you asked me to do this today, of course I was thrilled because I just like running my mouth, period, especially with people I like. So then I rewatched the trailer, and you know, I don't know if I have a ton of like deep dive value to add. I'll be the color commentary guy. But I think about, you know, the things I love about Ghostbusters, and it goes back, honestly, most of it is Ghostbusters 1. I love 2. I don't watch it nearly as much. But Ghostbusters 1 always stood out to me for all the reasons that I think most of us love it. Not only was it, you know, a scarier movie for the age and the time, and I was a kid when it came out, but like the humor in Ghostbusters is what locks me in as much as anything. We were making quotes and lines on Twitter, retweeting your posts for tonight. And one of my favorite lines is one of the ones I used, which is generally you don't expect this kind of behavior from a major appliance when he's in there looking at the refrigerator. And it's so subtle and it's so dumb, but it makes me laugh every time. And so I love that about Ghostbusters. And I had the toys, and I think that was the other thing we talked about was I had the firehouse, I had the Ecto One, I had those original figures that had the proton blasters that just was the one like wavy, and he twisted it in the back so that it kind of made a turn. I never had a proton pack. I never had the trap or the PKE that I could play with, but I had the figures. And so that was a big part of, you know, playing with those toys and growing. It was Ghostbusters, it was He-Man, and it was Star Wars. Those were the three kind of big growing up toys I had. So a lot of my affection goes back to OG, you know, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. I like the new one that they did with the ladies. I didn't think it was a bad movie. It just didn't stick with me the same way those originals did. And I'm really interested to see what they do. Yeah, go ahead.
It felt more like it felt more like an homage and everything to me. It felt like a love letter and everything, which it was more of I think that's what Kevin Feige, not Kevin Feige, excuse me, Paul Feig was going for and everything. Just he was. And
Paul Feig is brilliant in his own right, and I think that, you know, and I love that. I love the idea of it being a love letter to Ghostbusters, and I really need to go back and spend some more time with it and watch it. You know, I haven't watched it since it came out, so you know,
they've
done
cool
things.
And well, I mean, they've done cool things. I haven't read most of the few of them. I'm not an expert at all, but I know that they do they have like a multiverse thing going on where they all exist in kind of like a multiverse kind of a thing. And that's very Ghostbusters to me as well. So you go and you see these different teams that are happening in different universes. And that's just, it's honestly with everything. This is, I mean, everyone thinks the multiverse, I think, is a new thing, but it's been going on for a little while, but yeah, no, it can still count. It can still be good. And like you said,
totally here for it.
The great thing about Ghostbusters, I should probably let you finish your thought and everything. I think you were going to talk about what you're excited to see.
And we can get into that with the trailer if you want to jump in that direction, because we'll certainly get to those thoughts.
Absolutely, but yeah, no, it's like the thing just real quick about Ghostbusters that has always stuck out to me is I love that it is. And people will go ahead and say, I know people have criticized the new movies, and we'll get into this a little bit maybe, as the new movie looks like, why are they taking it so seriously? There was that conversation about, like, I thought Ghostbusters was a comedy, where, yes, technically it is, but Ghostbusters to me is, I was thinking about it today, it's kind of a perfect film. It's kind of, it's really funny. It's written by a bunch of guys who are like Saturday Night Live alums and just really funny people. But it still has a lot of those scares. It still has weight to it. There's a lore to it, and especially when you read a little bit more into Dan Aykroyd, his family's background in paranormal investigation and stuff like that. I think his dad or grandpa wrote a book called it was like the Handbook on Ghosts or something. Like it's a tome, I just
it's not Tobin's Spirit Guide, but it's close.
No, but I think that's where he probably got it. I think
that's the inspiration for it. You're right.
I
Yeah,
actually
you
have my
do.
Tobin Spirit Guide back there underneath that pile of books with a terror dog on top of it because I am a big nerd. But listen, we should jump into this. I could go endlessly about just why I love this franchise so much. But let's just go ahead. I'm gonna pull up.
Absolutely.
Here we go. We're gonna pull up the trailer. Now we're going to try our best, guys, to not get flagged. I got this turned down. I want to have a little bit of the music playing in the background though, because I would love to.
Well, hopefully, if we
Just
get
hear
flagged
a
that
little bit
first
of
one,
it.
if everybody hangs around, we'll get back on.
Right. Okay, here we go. Gosh,
Mom, what kind of scientist was Grandpa?
so intrigued by that first shot.
Honestly, I have no idea.
All of this,
Yeah,
all of
that
this
has
makes
to be
me
some
so
sort of
happy.
early shot, and some of these,
Yeah.
like what happened to Grandpa. That's why the ecto ends up in the
Right.
barn.
Found it in my living room.
I'm starting to think that the house is somehow made to like cat ghosts as well. It's to amplify the trap,
Okay.
maybe, or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems
what we know is that with all he went to this place in the middle of the country for a reason. They were
Right,
tracking this hotbed of activity, whatever it is.
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yes, Scotty's right. The theremin in this trailer,
It's a gateway.
bingo.
The theremin.
Yes, the musical instrument, the theremin, all that.
I was thinking like an actor, like some. I don't know why.
Theremin Jones. He's so famous.
Theremin. Oh, I love Theremin Jones. Okay. How pumped were you when you heard the first strains
The first strain of the notes. Yep.
of the Ghostbusters theme song?
Yep.
Honestly, the most, in my opinion, I think it's the best theme song ever written for a film, ever. That's just
That's Siren, original Siren back there.
Paul Rudd is perfect for this, by the way. Oh man,
Yeah.
all these shots.
Well, and I'm
This-
excited about Finn. from
Oh,
Stranger
yeah.
Things.
He's so brilliant as well. But now, this is gonna be. He's not. I think he's gonna be like. Man, just okay. First of all, so let's cancel that. And let's go back to the beginning. I don't want to see how that gentleman. I don't know what that looks like. A really sad movie, whatever that is. With the
We don't need that here.
5 million views and I die. Anyway, so there's a lot to go through there. There is a lot to go through.
Oh, for sure.
One second. My mother is trying to. I think my mother thinks I've died. One second. This is great. This is great. Hi, Mother. I'm live on YouTube. So
Hi,
I'm gonna have
Mom.
to let
Talking
you
about
go, okay?
Ghostbusters.
Hi, we're talking about Ghostbusters.
G2G.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was great. It's great to be here, guys.
That makes for enthralling streaming when your mom calls in the middle of it.
Who
and
are
then
you gonna
Nightbot
call?
shows up.
My mom? She's probably gonna
Yeah.
call me like 5 more times. Who knows? Anyway, so dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. This
All right, so here's my
this whole
question.
stream
I'm
is all of
gonna
this.
steal your host.
Bring it
I'm
up.
gonna steal your host role. Let's do this.
Please
Because
steal it.
as I said, I love Ghostbusters. I have a connection to Ghostbusters, but you're a much more, as you are the Canon junkie, you're a
Okay.
deep dive Canon, even with Ghostbusters kind of guy. So the lore,
Okay,
the trailer's going to
okay.
hit you different than me. I'm color commentary. I'm that kind of stuff. So I'm going to throw some
You're
stuff
giving
at
me
you.
a lot. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
We're going.
So
I'm going to
you
throw some
gonna
stuff at you.
spitball it as we go, or do you want to spitball it right now?
Oh, I got you. I got you, bro.
You got me.
First
Okay,
thing
okay.
off the top, what is the number
Okay.
one thing that excited you the most about this trailer?
Honestly, on the first, real quick, I gotta catch this while it's there. Yes, Seth knows my mom, and so I will tell her, Seth, that you said hi. No, I think that Scotty, stop producing in the thing, man. No, I'm just kidding. On first watching, like so I got out of work and you guys had said, like, you're like, hey, check and see if Jerry is okay.
Check and make sure Jerry's
And
okay. That's exactly what I said.
I mean, I was absolutely just blown away that we had something else released and everything. I wasn't expecting anything. And the fact that the Ghostbusters music starts playing, like you have the beginning of the, because that's just the opening, but that is just as much a part of the song as anything. Like that, I remember as a kid hearing that on either the cartoon, the real Ghostbusters, or even just like hearing the song and thinking, this is absolutely just it was my favorite. It was like, that's when I know, like, that's the spooky part of the song. That's the part of the song that gets you a little bit like, oh, okay, it's something strange going on in the neighborhood and everything.
But then there's such a build up in that song. It just builds and builds and builds.
Oh yeah,
you get that drop.
Well, it's so triumphant. I don't know if it's the right word, but it's just it's very cool, and it's very, again, I think it's honest to me, my humble opinion, this is the best theme song ever, frankly. And I just to hear those notes start to play, to me, this trailer finally made me go, and I felt that it all feels like Ghostbusters. It's been interesting, and they released the clip where they have the Elmer Bernstein style score when Paul Rudd's in the Walmart, which I'm excited for that to return. Good old Elmer really knew how to mix the lightness with the heavy, like, scary moments as well. And it's endlessly entertaining. But to actually hear the beginning of the theme song play while they're chasing, I think I guess the name of the ghost, if I'm remembering correctly, because that's been released for a long time, is Muncher or something. Okay. So Slimer and Muncher, or Munchie or something. I think it's Muncher. Which chewing on a that's, I think, our first full shot we've gotten of him, right? Or her.
Right. I don't
know. I don't want to like gender that ghost right away that's chewing on a fire hydrant or anything. It's probably a dude, though. If it's chewing on a fire hydrant, it's a dude.
That seems like dude behavior.
That seems like yes, that seems like a definitely a straight guy. But anyway,
McGee chewing on a fire hydrant.
Right. But I think it's got to be that. That's my long-winded answer. But like, what excited you about this, like, on first viewing?
I love any of the shots of Ecto 1. And of course, that was the big tease. Gosh, has it been almost 2 years ago now? That first tease they dropped was the shot of the Ecto in the
tarp
barn
blowing,
with the tarp kind of blowing and all that. And you got the little strains of the song. Because again, that harkens back directly to my childhood. First Ghostbusters. Yeah. And, that car, I had the toy. I was so obsessed with it, watching it. Another thought I had, excuse me, a second ago when you were talking was, I've been to New York City one time. I went for work a couple years ago with 125 teenagers. It wasn't necessarily a vacation. It was very much work. But two of the highlights of that trip to New York City was that I got to see the Seinfeld diner that they shoot. That's the outside of the diner in Seinfeld. And I got to see the fire station that's in Ghostbusters. Like, seeing those two buildings were just like, these are
so jealous.
Pivotal entertainment locations. It's kind of like seeing movie cars. Occasionally around here we'll see, a General Lee Dukes of Hazzard car, or you'll see a DeLorean, or you'll see, one of these things that, again, it just hits you in that moment of like, I wasn't expecting that today, and that was so fun because it reminds you of your childhood. It reminds you of those connections. And Pete said it. The Ghostbusters music, and you said it too. Yes. Like, that's such a key part of Ghostbusters. Ray Parker Jr., that song, that theme, the build up, the bass line, the whole thing when it blows up and drops, it speaks to a very specific era of my life. And so that was a lot of fun. I'd say that was my number one. Right behind it, honestly, is the new stuff. Paul Rudd, Finn Wolfhard, like, getting these characters. I love Stranger Things. I love Finn and, the acting and the stuff he does. How do you not love Paul Rudd? Like, everything about Paul Rudd is just fun and wins. And he seems relatively Paul Rudd-like, talking to the terror dog in the Walmart.
Right.
Hey, buddy. Like,
hey, buddy. Yeah.
that's Paul
so
Rudd.
Louis
And that's
Tully.
why we show up for him.
Yeah. That's so Louis Tully meets like Peter Venkman to me. Like I feel like that's gonna be his role. Is he's kind of he's a scientist. Like he's a geologist.
Like
I think
he's hot Louis Tully. That's what he is.
He's hot Louis Tully with a little bit of geology knowledge and stuff. And listen, I'm gonna try my best to kind of go like Scotty was saying here. I don't know if I can go frame by frame. I am going 5 seconds at a time,
and that works.
Here, let me. Again, let's play a little bit of it here. Okay. And then, okay. So, real quick here. Let's see if we can go shot of him in the air. I absolutely love where they started. And this was, I watched this in my car, broad daylight. So this scene was really hard to see, but then he's got, look, so obviously
he's got a trap.
We think this is, I mean, there's no other explanation. This is our first look at Egon in the movie.
Right.
Like Egon plays which I mean, he always plays a huge role, but this is Egon. And, sorry, Paul Rudd was 52 when the original Ghostbusters came out, probably. But just
Paul Rudd has a portrait of himself in his attic that's covered with a sheet. That's all we know.
Absolutely, find that out in this movie. That would be fantastic,
very
honestly, if they do something. But what'd you think of this whole sequence? This to me, I think, was the most exciting part that we were getting, and especially
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, it very well could be a classic movie trailer misdirect, because, of course, when I saw it the first time, I thought, okay, this is some sort of flashback. This is what happened to where the trap ends up buried. Ecto ends up in the barn. Obviously, this is a truck. This is an Ecto that's, plowing through the field and all that kind of stuff, or it doesn't appear to be.
Right.
Yeah, that's not Ecto 1. That's, a farm truck or some kind of deal.
That's made.
But that's exactly what it is. Mater from whatever Springs it is. Radiator Springs.
Yeah.
I have kids. I know what's that.
That's where this takes place, right? Yeah. No. Anyway.
This actually takes place in the Cars universe. That's where it gets wild.
Exactly.
But yeah, at first sight, you think, is this some sort of flashback to how the trap ends up hidden? This is what's going on. But it may not be. This may be something that takes place in the film. There's a second. Obviously, not everything has to be a Skywalker. Not everything has to be Ecto 1.
Absolutely.
We don't know.
Yeah.
And that's what a good movie trailer does for you, is it gives you enough to be tantalized. It gives you enough to go, holy crap, whatever's happening here, there's a ghost trap in the front seat. There's a thing that's going to happen. And then we go to, hey, I found this under the floor at my house. And Paul Rudd seemingly knows what it is.
Well, just, I mean, even like this scene that I've posited at here, where I didn't notice this until like my third time watching through again, because I watched it a couple of times out in the bright sunlight, like normal people, and then I came home to my dark apartment and watched it so I could see, and just like something like a supernatural force hits him right there. Right. And that let's just see that again real quick here. I love all of this, like just the whole feel of this scene, like you can feel the intensity and everything, the flipping over into the corn, and oh man, yeah, like what kind of scientist was Grandpa as well? Right. And then do you think
I like the setting it up, that this is how it ends signs at the gate into that farm or compound or whatever. Of course they're setting up Grandpa was the crazy old hermit that lived outside of town and the crazy scientist or whatever.
I gotta stop it at that. Holy cow.
Yeah, you've got a trap, and there's something very much in that trap. And who is that person holding that? Is that Egon? Is that, what are we looking at, and how are we playing that?
Right. But I'm wondering if the daughter, and now watching Ghostbusters 2, 5 years after the original Ghostbusters, everyone had forgotten, basically all the kids had forgotten basically what the Ghostbusters, they weren't excited about the Ghostbusters anymore. Like they were like excited, like they wanted He-Man. That's one of the great things. We're like, who are you gonna call? He-Man. So that's one of the things of this film, is that it seems like the world has forgotten about the Ghostbusters completely. I feel like the daughter does know something. I feel like she knows. I feel like she knows. I feel like she maybe doesn't talk about it. Maybe it's because she never saw anything. Maybe she, you know, and he obviously, Egon, was he a good dad? We don't know. He obviously left his family. When did he leave his family? Right?
And left them with this seemingly broken down farm. But isn't it in the first trailer that Janine is in, and she says there's more here than you realize? Like, there's kind of that moment of like, your father, like your dad, you know.
So he left us nothing. I think is what she said, and then she said, "Well, I wouldn't say nothing."
Yeah, I wouldn't say nothing. Yeah. And so that certainly creates a leading. And of course, it also begs the question, you know, what kind of Egon flashback do we get? Because, of course, Harold Ramis died in like 2015 or 14.
Right.
So we don't have him. We don't have, they're not going to Carrie Fisher, you know, use footage for this. So is it shadows and body doubles, you know, which I would prefer.
That's what it looks like. And, you know, there might there might be a deep fake or two. There might be like, and not a deep. That's such a dumbing down of what it actually is. But like the de-aging, maybe like. I mean, they brought back Tarkin.
I would say this is a whole separate conversation, but I don't know that deep fake is a dumbing down anymore because they hired the guy for Mando.
Right. Well, I mean,
and kind of legitimate, like there's a art to it in a way that, you know, you can do something that can work.
Well, and I guess I just mean that. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think for this, it feels more on brand and true to the story to tell it using some camera tricks, some shadows, some back angles, you know, some things that, you know, do a voiceover impersonation or something like that without CGIing a face and telling the bits of the story we need to get us to the point of understanding, okay, this is where we are. This is what happened.
Right. Get us up to speed, which I would be down for, but I also, man, I'm not going to put it past him to put one shot where his face comes into the light and we lose our shit collectively as nerds, because this is, and so just this whole scene, honestly, this is what absolutely enthralled me. After, again, the first thing that grabbed me was the music. The next, I was like, I have to get home so I can see what's going on in this scene, because you've got a lot. It's so dark, like you said, in shadows and everything. The obviously probably the Gozer herself, whatever, was, or some force like that was pushing him off the road, and then we've got him stage with the trap. Is the trap opening? Is something in it?
Right.
Is he trying to catch it? I'm so intrigued. I'm so ready to learn what's going on here and everything. But just, man, like the footprints. It looks like Terror Dog footprints, honestly, for half a second. If you look back, oh no, I might need to go back a bit there. Hold on. Okay, there's finding it in the. Kind of a cool concept, honestly.
Well, and that also, you know, just talking about how do they use Egon, but we have confirmed Winston, Ray, Peter, like they show up at some point, and I don't think that it's just them watching the old YouTube clip of the commercial.
Right.
You know, I think at some point we're going to get this time period of the movie versions of them. We have Dana has been, Sigourney Weaver's been confirmed. Obviously, we know about Janine.
I'm not ready.
You know, so we get all of those back, and we could spend a million years theorizing about, you know, how does that happen? What does it look like? It could be a phone call. It could be a show up. We don't know, and that's not what we're here for today. But it just adds that level of, you know, excitement to what we're getting right now in this trailer. We're getting Finn pulling a ghost trap out of the hole in the floor, which I thought was neat, because in the first trailer, this was the sister moving the floor things around.
Well,
like
that actually,
was a puzzle.
I think that is the sister. Actually.
Oh, is this the okay? They just the way they cut it.
I think it is, because I think she's the one who finds all of the. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't pause at the right time there, but yeah, she's the, and he is the one who finds the car.
Right. Okay.
It's so like it seems like together. they're kind of discovering the things. Like, I think he's going to be fixing up the car, kind of a thing, since he's the teenager. And then you've got her. It seems like, and I'm blanking on the actress's name, but like her friend and her are the ones who I guess they're in Mr. I am trying to remember Paul Rudd's character's name as well.
Yes.
Mr. Gruber or something. It's something. It's something like that. It's something very, which is honestly, it's on Gruberson. It's honestly very Ghostbusters to have someone with like a name like that, frankly. But it seems like they're going to be the ones who kind of find the ghost, the equipment and things like that. But oh no, and then taking it to him and he's geeking out. Oh man, there is. I can't stop thinking about all of the. I'm thinking of all of the connections we've had before. You were talking about the cast coming back, seeing those versions of them. We've already got like a glimpse of Dan Aykroyd in at the end of the last trailer, where he, in Ray's Occult Books of all places, which was a big, because I'm a big Ghostbusters 2 fan, and to see Ray's Occult Books be there, he picks up the phone and says we're closed, which is it's so Ghostbusters just to have it's like they're not jerks, but like they'll they're New Yorkers kind of a thing, it felt like we're closed, kind of like I just
about that, because you're still talking about the original cast, and I'm looking at some stuff on IMDb while you're talking. Bill Murray, Bill Murray has kind of famously been reluctant to appear in any of the other movies, but his actual quote for this movie said the script is good, it's got lots of emotion in it, it's got lots of family in it with lots of through lines that are really interesting, it's going to work.
Oh man, and that's a big thing for him, because he was the one who really kind of was off of it for a little while. And so I would recommend everyone, if you're a fan of the movie, at least, you don't have to be. I guess Nick has betrothed on me the art. I guess I'm the arbiter of deep Ghostbusters knowledge.
Yes, you are.
But Why We Love the Movies That Made Us. It's a sequel series on Netflix. A sequel series to The Toys That Made Us. I watched the Ghostbusters episode the other day, and there was actually there was a lot of bad blood between Harold Ramis and.
Wait. Hold on. You're breaking. There's a Movies That Made Us of Ghostbusters?
Yes, you need to go check it out. It's so good. But there's an entire thing.
I've watched all of them.
There is an entire section
I'm just
where
have to go now.
You're gonna. Well, I'll
stream. I have to go watch this.
We'll see you, Nick. We'll see you later.
Yes. I gotta go.
No, it's
That's
really
crazy talk. I'll do that later.
Honestly, I was crying during this because there was bad blood between them. But right before Harold passed, they had his daughter come on and say, basically, you had oh man, why am I blanking? Bill Murray. I don't know. I kept wanting to call him Peter. Bill actually. So right before Harold passed, when he knew he was sick, he wanted to go see him, but he didn't know how to find him. So he called the police station in the town that they live, or to ask. He's like, "Do you know where he is? Would you mind if you contacted them and see if I could come see him?" And so, before the end, they were able to sit down, and the daughter said they had a good conversation. They hashed everything out. And they were like, and I think it was because something going on the set of Groundhog Day. Apparently, that something there ended up kind of splitting them, and so just to hear that, honestly, was just, again, it was very moving. And I'm sorry to take that away from you, because you're going to go watch it and everything, but it just to hear Bill was the one who was so against doing another one and everything. They even made fun of it in Zombieland. Right, where they if you've seen Zombieland, they go and they find Bill Murray and they put on the Ghostbuster suit and run around. And for a while, I thought that's all we were ever going to get, And now here we are. We have them coming back. I wonder if Venkman is going to be are he and Dana going to be married, or are they still going to be true to form? They never quite made it happen, kind of a thing. Yeah. I'm intrigued, especially since Dana is in there. Are we going to get a grown up Oscar? I'm thinking of Ghostbusters 2 canon, and I want so much of that to be a part of it. But here we go.
That's right.
So we got.
I just want the Vigo the Destroyer painting to come back.
If that is somewhere, like something, or like Janosch, if Janosch makes like maybe we can take a trip to the Upper West Side.
What else?
I love
Yeah,
so much of these
there's a lot.
characters and everything.
No doubt. So what else in this trailer, Jerry? What else is sticking out for you or standing out for you? There's some stuff right here where you've kind of got it paused.
Right.
What's underground? Because what I see, we get that. Yeah, the marshmallow guys are great.
Right.
It's very clear that they shot this in a actual Walmart. The tags on the shelf, all the things. It's Walmart,
which has always been. I think I tweeted about it. That's always been a daydream of mine when I was a little kid, was being a Ghostbuster or something inside a Walmart when my parents were shopping, And so I'm so geeked to see them even go into a mundane place like that. It's very like, you're shopping and stuff. I would pretend like I was a Ghostbuster. I would pretend like a dinosaur got in there after I saw Jurassic Park and stuff, it was just different things. So, I was a kid, I was an ADHD
department
kid.
Store and hiding under the clothes racks when your mom was shopping for clothes and crawling.
Oh yeah, I would do that too and everything. But like I was chasing a ghost or something usually. But go finish your question. But real quick,
I was just gonna say we get
this is a new shot right here
of down into I call it a well, but whatever is underground where all that energy
the
is
mine
coming from and,
or a well
bursts out.
Right.
But they transition from those shots to some of those statues, and those statues have very much Ghostbusters 1 and 2 vibes. The terror dogs.
There they are going down.
Right here,
yeah, look, there's Gozer
with the horns. Like it almost feels like, how did they move Dana's apartment building to underground in Oklahoma or wherever the hell they are? Like,
right.
It had that same architectural feel, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like that had very Ghostbuster lore vibes.
Funny,
right,
and even look back there. Yeah, there's numbers and stuff. Well, if you remember, I don't know if you saw eagle-eyed people. I didn't see this. I saw it after people said it. But the mines are actually called Shandor Mines, and if that name rings a bell for you, it's because it's the architect who made Dana's building, Ivo Shandor, who has kind of been like the quiet, like he's like the architect of their doom, so to speak. So there's this is Shandor Mines. And they talk about like it's not a mine or something. This is just, oh man. It's absolutely it's Dana's apartment building, but it's here. So this is obviously, I think we're gonna learn there's some big through line, some big plan that Mr. Ivo Shandor had, which is what a great name for someone who is supposed to be like a I guess an Aleister Crowley type of character for this in this universe. I think he's supposed to be like, but an Aleister Crowley who was is less focused on just kind of just being a contrarian and actually like someone who actually wanted to bring about the end of the world. But look, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to love. We're gonna get so much through line that I don't know. It's going to be I'm excited to get more lore. I'm excited to learn like what happened, like why is this here in this certain spot? I think they're in like Oklahoma or Indiana or Idaho or something.
I think it's Oklahoma. It's something very Midwest, more so than Indiana and Illinois.
We get a new method of torture. Yes, a new method.
Well, and in the first trailer, they were making s'mores out of one of them. And in this
they
one,
were like melting the chocolate on top of them.
Which I'm not gonna lie, this blender scene gave me Gremlins vibes.
Yeah, very much the way he's like, and look, he smashes his face into it. And like, I just, there's so much about. I'm really excited about that Walmart scene. Okay, and here is the moment. So there's our boy.
Yeah.
Muncher.
Our boy Muncher.
Our boy Muncher. Here we go. Okay, let's get a
Kids
little bit.
in the car. And I remember they showed this. They used
you see the Stay Puft sign behind him too, right?
Yes. Yep. Right there on the building. The little, what's it called?
It's like one of the an old time ad
mural.
Or something.
That's the word I
wanted.
Mural.
Yeah. Right.
But yes, this scene with Ecto 1. But when the remote control trap drops out of the bottom of that car, that was one of those like, ooh, expand on the things I grew up loving. Because in my era of Ghostbusters, it was traps with the little wheels on it. They slid it across the room. They hit the button. And this one, you've got it on a freaking remote control drone, something in the middle of the street. Like, that was pretty awesome.
Like, just the fact that they're like expanding on it, like the gunner seat and everything. Mm-hmm. Also, we have this is when the music kicks in. Yes,
we've seen the gunner seat in the cartoons, but never in the movies.
Oh, man, I'm kind of geeking out about what they might make canon from the old stuff, from the cartoons and everything, because there is, I don't know if you can see my antivirus expiring on the screen or not, but
it's not showing up. You're good.
Okay, good.
Might be
never mind then.
Trying to invade your computer.
They might be trying to. I think Ivo Shandor might be trying to get me to pay for his cousin from Austria to come to the States or something.
That's what it is.
Let me see here. Oh my goodness! That's just, for one thing, the design of this ghost of Muncher is I mean, it's reminiscent of Slimer while being. I think I was a little concerned at the beginning of seeing all this iconography that we've already seen. I was worried, like, oh, are we just going to be playing greatest hits? But it feels like they're going more for we're really just trying to get the feel of the original. And so I love the design on Muncher. There we go. Oh man, that's kind of all of these new parts of this chase. I'm excited for the chase sequence. I'm excited for so many parts of this. Okay, we got something going on here, which is very interesting.
That's multiple streams, and what do we know about streams, Jerry?
Well, you don't cross the streams unless you want to send a prehistoric bitch back to hell or something. Apparently, at least from the first Ghostbusters, that's what we know. But this seems like something even different. It seems like it's. I don't know if it's actually like them firing into it or if it's like an apparatus that fires in there. Like we could be looking, and honestly, I don't want to ever know, but like we could be looking at the end of the film, right? Like when they do cross and all. And so, oh man, there's just so much of this. Like, I don't know if you heard, like whenever, there's where we first heard the siren for the first time. Okay, so wait, it looks like it is actually an apparatus of some kind. See if I can yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some kind of proton apparatus there. Look at that. Okay. But this scene right here where I feel like it's going to be the ghosts, like whenever the containment unit breaks in the first movie, you have those red streams of spirits or whatever they are escaping. I don't know if you heard, or I think Jason was talking about this. Reitman was talking in one interview. I forget, maybe it was on Ghostbusters Day, how they took that from the original film and like they repainted, like they tried to like basically take those and superimpose them on here. So I think it's as close to the original as you can get, which is just such a cool detail.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah. So this was that
another
vibe that
version
I was thinking about. Yeah, that connected me kind of to the architecture stuff from the first one. That just again
to see a terror dog in a different.
Yeah, I mean that's not exactly the terror dog we're used to, but it's a dog and horns and upright, which also has like Egyptian vibes and has.
Well, I was going to say it has a very Anubis feel to it.
Correct. You know, that cat and personification of animals and that kind of thing. Again, and it could be a New York City building right there behind it, which we're used to, but this is also buried in the ground in Oklahoma or wherever.
Right. It's such an interesting choice to set it in just the Midwest, just somewhere that's not. I think I'm going to miss New York a little bit, but it seems like we might get a little bit of it, frankly, just because we go to Raise Occult Books, Right.
So here's a thought.
Okay.
And this is very undeveloped and happening to me, as we're watching this. Not in Ghostbusters, obviously, because it wasn't a thing at the time of the original movies. But we've certainly got it, especially in like the Marvel movies, and the conversations about collateral damage. Marvel tears
Right.
up New York. The Avengers tear up, South Africa. The Avengers tear up whatever. And people respond to that. Like, you hear the real world conversations like, yeah, I appreciate that they addressed that and didn't just, destroy Manhattan and then pretend like it never happened. Obviously, Egon gets pulled to this part of this country because there's some sort of like centering power, whatever. But maybe
Right.
it gives the opportunity for them to be out in the open, and you don't have to destroy New York as another, they destroyed New York in Ghostbusters. They blew up
yeah.
the 50-foot Marshmallow Man or 100-foot Marshmallow Man or whatever he was.
Right.
Like, but
Well,
that created
they weren't
that
allowed.
collateral damage.
They weren't allowed to practice in Ghostbusters 2 in the court scene. Like they were forbidden by law to actually practice paranormal investigation and elimination.
See? There you go.
By that time, so
it's an interesting choice story wise, and I don't know if it's intentional because it's just easier to do things out in the open, have a farm, have a whatever. But that just kind of hit me as we were talking about that, and that collateral damage thing comes up in modern superhero stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think real life consequences and politics are definitely going to play kind of a part in this. And everything, like nothing too boring, but just like to have like, to make it feel grounded, to make it feel real, you know. I mean, I definitely think we're gonna get. I mean, we could. I don't know. I think there's gonna be some very interesting things. I had to pause on this screenshot right here of the absolutely just terrifying, like terror dog. I guess the spectral form of the statue we just saw. And everything, like hovering over Paul Rudd right there, Mr. Gruberson. And then that's where we have it goes through there. Like, I love this, like, I forget what he says there. Like, that wasn't good. Something to that nature. I'm so excited to see these characters interact, man. Like, the new characters that they've created, they seem to really be, and I mean, yes, it's big Stranger Things vibes to have like some kids be at the forefront of this. I think that's very popular these days. But I mean, it's a formula that works. So why not kind of go for that? But I think we're definitely going to have. We know we're going to have more adult characters coming. We know we're going to have Mr. Gruberson. We're going to have the original 3 who are left come back. And I'm so excited to just see. I want this movie right now, Nick. I want it right now. Look at some cool shots of. We've got the mom here looking very honestly Dana Barrett-esque.
That's
from the
exactly
first
what
one.
I thought. It definitely has.
I wonder if she gets
Dana vibes.
possessed. And look, she is in the mine right there. It looks like. I think I was thinking she was in front of the house because the back looked like a porch, but that looks. The shrine or whatever that they're going on. So, I mean, we might have a little bit of which I mean, again, you could say like, are they playing too much to the old stuff, or are they just kind of moving it forward in a fresh new way? It could be interesting to see like. Maybe Gozer, one of the Keymaster, or the Keymaster and the Gatekeeper even going to play a part in this, like Vince Clothor and Zool. Like, maybe she. How much would it mess with the kids to have their mother?
That's right.
Be possessed? Like, why wouldn't
there is no mom?
Gozer go for that? There is no mom, only Zool, or maybe it is Gozer itself. Who knows?
There's a lot out there, and I think as we look at it, and as you get, we're pretty much at the end of the trailer. Yeah, terror dogs. I mean, all the terror dogs we can get. Let's go.
We're getting so many. It seems like.
Well, and again, classic Paul Rudd, and we talked about this before we started. Hey, buddy, like that's that's Paul Rudd. That's the humor that he brings, and the stuff we love about him as an actor. Yep. That's pause. It's so good.
This is so classic. And watch this too, like the slime and everything there, because like this is just this right here is so classic. Is it eating kibble or something? It seems like it's eating like dog food or something.
It does kind of look like dog food,
which is fantastic. Right. I was wondering what exactly it was. I think it is dog food, but just that it gets up, it notices him, and it's got the slime. Oh man, this is just this seriously is going to take me right back to my childhood. And I mean, just everything that I loved about Ghostbusters. I loved the whole, like the ectoplasm stuff. They sold ectoplasm and all that kind of stuff with the toys and everything, but that was just, there's just a very tactile and very real feeling to what they did with Ghostbusters and how some of it's a little dated, but the movie still feels like the visual effects, most of them still hold up for me to this day. And the story alone holds up. And just to have this, to see all of this in glorious 1080p at this moment. That face.
Yep. That's it. That's the one right there.
Hey, buddy. Like,
so
for one thing,
this movie drops 1 month from tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. I was legit
November
terrified
19th.
by this, just how close it gets to him right there. November. Okay, so we're 1 month away from seeing this finally.
1 month away. It's going to finally happen. We're going to get it. We get that last kind of pseudo Dukes of Hazzard shot, the ecto flying over the camera.
Makes me nervous because that's such an old car. I'm like, this is going to completely destroy this thing.
Your suspension isn't built for that.
No, that is such a Dukes of Hazzard shot right there, even. So like,
yep. So all we can wait for now is the behind the scenes featurette where they talk about how many of these cars they went through.
Exactly.
But that takes you to the end of the trailer. And so that takes you to, November, actually a month from today, November 18th. I misspoke.
Oh, my Lord.
A month from today.
Yeah.
Do you think we get any other footage or previews before we get to a month from today? Or do you think this is it?
I honestly
This is the international trailer, or billed as the international trailer, which, usually has a couple more bits that we don't see before.
Right.
Do you think we get anything else?
Honestly, I think we might get a couple of. Honestly, we're probably gonna get a couple of TV spots and everything. You gotta let the normies kind of know that this movie's coming out and everything. Right. In fact, I think I told my parents about this a couple years ago when it was coming out, but I just reminded them again when they came up to visit me like a month ago. And I said, hey, sit down and watch this trailer. And they were like, oh, that's going to be so cool. And everything. Because my parents, I think, were the ones. I think they took me. I was born in 87, and I believe Ghostbusters 2 released in 89. Right. And so I'm pretty sure I have early memories of them taking me to see, and say what you will about like, oh, should you take a kid to see that young? But I remember seeing that, and I think it got into my DNA. But, just to I honestly don't know. I think that this is, I think I would be happy with just this. I would take another trailer, maybe cut together all the footage we have with the classic Ghostbusters, with the Ray Parker Jr. song, with Ghostbusters playing over it, just to give people more the feel of this is Ghostbusters. This is no worries. Right. And over under 50%. Do you think that they are going to start the film are we going to start the film just like the classics? Have the cold open and then cut to I apologize right now. I don't know if anyone's going to go watch it with me whenever I go see it up here. But all the people that are going to be in my screening whenever I finally see this movie, I apologize for the mess I'm going to be in there. I'm going to be cheering, pumping my fist, probably crying. I'm going to be blubbering like a baby. Honestly. Are you ready for that, Nick? Are you ready to cry
I will say
to a Ghostbusters film?
The odds of me making it from Alabama to Michigan, where you are, to watch this movie with you on opening night are legitimately 0%. But there are few things that I would love more in life than to be able to be there, be your cameraman to record these reactions, because
we would need GoPros on both of us, honestly.
There are a few people I know and have ever met that love Ghostbusters the way you do, and that makes me so happy, and I can't wait to hear your reactions, to hear the feelings and the things that you're going to feel coming into this and coming out of this movie coming out. So this is going to be your Scotty J. Rowe Rise of Skywalker trailer moment. So
it honestly might be.
I don't know if you need to go ahead and invest in like some C clamps and some things that you can clamp on the seat in front of you. but like you should make some plans to get some footage of you watching this movie because I think that's that important.
Oh man, possibly. This is one of the things. Now there is an international airport 30 minutes from my house, just so you know. So just saying. If you can catch a red eye in November.
Just gonna go ahead and throw it out there.
Welcome
the
you with open arms.
The
just gonna throw it out there.
Block we're facing.
I understand. But listen. Something probably has to happen like that because I am like the beer that you would have after this movie would be the best beer I think you'd ever had.
Oh, no and there are a few
again,
things that I would enjoy more than having those drinks and sitting with you after this movie and going, tell me all of it, Jerry. Like just.
Absolutely. And I'm telling Scotty right now, we might have to do a separate episode of just the 2016 Ghostbusters film because I feel like that needs its due because I feel like a lot of people are like, well, you didn't like the female one. A lot of people gave it a lot more shit than it was due.
Sure.
But to have this is... And I mean, our good friend, like Maggie Lovett of Geeky Waffle and all that, like, and Your Money Geek, she got to see it at Comic-Con in New York, right. And she said, "This is how you do nostalgia right," and that excited me to no end. That excited me no end. And also, a lot of people saying, "Stay to the end." Apparently, there's something at the end of the credits. And Nick, I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but I've heard that there are chances for more movies. I've heard that those chances are great, and I will take we never thought we were going to get more Star Wars. If you had told me if we get any more Ghostbusters, I will be the happiest human being on the planet, probably. I mean, honestly. And so, but listen, Nick, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging with me.
It's my pleasure. I love this kind of stuff, and I love talking about these kinds of things. And as you and I both joke about all the time, whether it's Hyperfocus, whether it's Deucecast, whether it's other places that we get to hang out, the Bond Bad Cast episode we did a few weeks ago. I love Star Wars. That's my main brand.
I feel like we need another Bond Bad really quick. I'm just saying because I feel like I need to.
I haven't seen
after
it yet,
you've seen the movie.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah.
After you've seen it, we probably need to because I think we need a therapy sesh after that.
But I do love the chance to get outside of my Star Wars circle and talk about other things that I love, whether it's Bond, Ghostbusters, movies in general, that kind of stuff. So always a pleasure to hang out with you and nerd out on this kind of stuff. So thanks for letting me do it.
Thank you so much for stopping by, Nick. And thank you, all of you who stuck with us and everything. I know we went on for a little bit. Nick let me ramble on, and maybe he should have stopped me a couple of times, but it's okay. We'll let it go. We'll let it go because listen, we're scientists, so back off. It's okay.
We're back off, man. I'm a scientist.
But guys, real quick, let's plug some stuff. First of all, Nick, why don't you go ahead and plug your show that you've got coming up in not that long, actually. Have you already talked about it?
I haven't, but in 2.5 short hours from right this very moment, I will be on at 8:00 Central tonight with Mr. Mark Thompson, everybody's favorite Star Wars audiobook narrator, and we are going to finish up our Canon Studies series of Empire Strikes Back. We're looking at the last 10 minutes of Empire. We're talking about the themes of defeat, not only in that movie, but in the Star Wars greater canon in general. So that's exciting that we're going to do that tonight. And
absolutely.
Then we've got another month of shows, and then we're going to take the month of December off, and then we're going to kind of relaunch in January with some new exciting stuff. And then, of course, we've got Podathon, which I know you're about to talk about. So we've got that coming up as well that I get to be a part of. You get to be a part of.
It's as if you knew that I had a graphic to pull up, actually. Here we go, guys. So November 6th, 9 a.m. I almost said p.m. Don't show up at 9 p.m. You might show up just in time. You might show up just in time for a little. Who knows how long Force Connect is going to go? But guys, you are not going to want to miss Podathon. There is so much going on. I mean, what's the stuff that's been announced? I mean, well, for one thing, why don't you go and plug your guest that you've got coming that is a huge guest that you're going to have on Podcast of the Wills.
Podcast of the Wills, we're going to be number 2 in the lineup on Saturday morning. So we're going to go about 10 a.m. Central Time. That's where I live. I don't live on Eastern Time like you do, which is funny because as we commented earlier today, we literally live directly north and south of one another.
We're literally just right above and below each other, and it is, as above, so below.
10 a.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Podcast of the Wills is super excited to welcome Mr. Paul Sunyan Lee. You know him as Captain Carson Teva in The Mandalorian, several episodes, the X-Wing pilot. He is also Appa on Kim's Convenience. He is a huge nerd in and of his own right, has his own streams that he does on Sundays, unboxing, Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, all these different things. And he's going to hang out with me for an hour while we raise money for Make-A-Wish, and I'm pumped about it.
Absolutely. And I think, man, we've got Claudia Gray, I believe, is going to, she could be on Tarkin's Top Shelf. And I believe
Charles Soule is
Broaxium
going to be on Broaxium.
I was going to say, they just announced Charles Soule. And man, we have even, there's so much. I mean, there's a lot we can't talk about still, but everyone is pulling out all the other big one.
The other big one that has been announced that is worth plugging is Ian Convery, who is Dave Filoni's wife, who is going to be on Podathon. And, you know, that's a big deal because she wrote the Star Wars, Clone Wars short story Bugs. And also her last name is Convery, and she is who the Convor is named for, which is another great, little Star Wars tidbit. So
that makes
amazing
sense.
things going on, and all of it, like you said, is going to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which is a very worthy cause. So when you talk about it, you've got Force Connect, Tatooine Sun, Star Wars Explained, Tarkin Top Shelf, Blue Bantha Milk, Podcast of the Wills, Holo Chronicles, Imperial Senate, Pink Milk, Broaxium, Space Waffles, Beyond the Blast Doors Live, Around the Galaxy, and Bombad Cast, all coming together to spend an entire day podcasting and raising money.
Absolutely. I believe that Blue Bantha Milk also has an AI that they have written their AI has written specifically for this event. So it'll only be like that. If you want to see that, that's where it is going to debut, is right here on Podathon. So it's a big thing. Look, it's for a great cause. Spread the word to even your non-Star Wars family and friends. Please help us get the word out. It's going to be on the Around the Galaxy and Bombadcast YouTube channels exclusively. So help us out. Spread those links. Spread whatever you can. Go follow at Podathon 2021, I believe, is the Twitter, and
actually
help us get the word out on that.
The Podathon.
At the Podathon, excuse me.
Right.
So, and eventually we'll have a graphic where we can put it up there too and stuff. Maybe it was on.
Well, speaking of last plugs, as I take your job away from you, tomorrow night is Hyperfocus, Jerry. Let's go. What you got?
Oh, it is, and I was getting to it, but listen, we almost listen. So, tomorrow my guest is going to be I think it's honestly one of my most anticipated, and Jackson the Leppy is going to come down off of his throne, where he makes all of his content and everything like that. And yes, it is. Boop was here; she would be laughing hysterically because that is a toilet joke. That is a toilet joke. It is that throne. But no, Jackson is going to be joining me tomorrow, and we are going to be talking about I don't know what. And I'm excited. So just come here. It's going to be something fantastic because it's Jackson. And you won't want to miss that. My boy Scotty is going to be, I believe, playing a little more Metroid Dread on Wednesday night. And so come and hang out with Scotty for Bombad Gaming. Scotty, if you're still there, buddy, just go ahead, tweet out some stuff like that. But guys, and this Thursday also, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to join just yet because I'm not sure if I'll be able to watch the massive epic that is Dune before the show starts, and also I have to work the next day at like 6 a.m, so I've really got to kind of play my cards right on that. But we are going to be breaking down Dune on the main show that Thursday, so come check that out for sure, guys. And there's nothing else I really have to plug, and so I'm going to let Mr. Mielke go. And guys, just make sure that while you're out there, you're doing your normal day job and everything. If you encounter something strange in the neighborhood, we want to make sure you know who you're going to call. And that, of course, is the Bombad Cast. No, it's the Ghostbusters. Guys, have a good night. Love you.
We're ready.
We'll talk to you later. We are ready to believe you. We should have ended this with a Ghostbusters commercial. Like, free balloons for the kids, free hot mug and balloons for the kids. Bye, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you later. we have been Nick and Jerry, I guess. Have a good night.